Sexual violence is one of the themes that mattered the most to women in 160 conversations that were held over the past year. Now, those conversations will conclude tomorrow, and the Prime Minister will offer his views. The government will use the feedback to craft a white paper setting out its position on women's development. Lili Ying and Deborah Wong have been speaking exclusively with Law and Home Affairs Minister Shanmugam.
The burning question is, when will the white paper be tabled in Parliament?
Thousands of women have taken part, given their viewpoints. So after the conversation is closed, we have already started analyzing the feedback, the different ministries. That will then feed into the drafting of the white paper and what issues can be dealt with realistically. So I would expect that that process will stretch over the several months, well into next year.
So how confident are you that the ideas put forward can move the needle?
Some of the ideas, if put into force, can move the needle, for example, on family violence. Getting women ready and better prepared for taking on board positions. On issues like caregiving, the more difficult part, which will take time, but we have to keep plugging at it, would be the mindset changes that are required, because we are talking about a major social change in how gender roles are seen. I think it's not going to be done in a matter of months, or it will take time.
From drawing up family safety plans to DEOs and even court-mandated counselling orders, all these measures seem to point towards reconciliation for the family unit. Do you think this inadvertently hinders victims from seeking help?
We need to find a way in which the person who is threatening is either removed from the scene, or the person who is being threatened has an option of finding safety. There are various recommendations. It will come out in the report. You don't want to convert every case into a criminal case, nor do you want to convert every case into a divorce. As far as possible, where reconciliation is possible, you want to leave open that while providing safety. So it requires more calibrated approach, and those are things that are being looked at.
On sex crimes, there has been feedback that victims wait a very long time to hear about the progress and the outcome of their cases, and this can sometimes cause anxiety. How can authorities better communicate during this process?
I would agree that, we haven't perhaps always communicated effectively, and those are things that we need to set right. But nevertheless, there is a time period that cases take. Sexual crime is treated very seriously. You're found guilty, you go in for years and years. You could also be caned. Often it's one person's word against another. Often there is no other independent scientific or DNA evidence. The accused also will have his life turned upside down, and even when investigations are being carried on, he also suffers, and if he's in a job, he's a professional, whatever he's doing, that period is hell. So we have to make sure that the investigation is thorough, assessment is carefully done before a case can be brought.
We've seen sex crimes moving online, from voyeurism to even Telegram chat groups. How concerned are you about such a trend?
It is a concerning trend. The police do everything they can, but there are a number of things which are beyond our control. These things can happen from outside Singapore. Second, technology. There is a limit to how much we will be able to intervene. Often it's encrypted, it's amongst closed chat groups. Where we find out what's happening, we move. People in some of the Telegram chat groups have been charged. But there must be some that happens without coming to the knowledge of the police. That's the nature of the technology that's pervasive.
Mr. Shanmugam says that while it may be hard to stamp out sex and hurt crimes, the government has taken a more punitive stance. As an example, he says that penalties have been doubled for attacks against vulnerable victims, including minors. Mr. Shanmugam was speaking with Lili Ying and Deborah Wong, concluding the gender balance, our special report on the challenges facing women here in Singapore.